There she is, the famous clock tower. It's Hill Valley, California. There's the Cafe 80s. I wonder if they would let me do Cafe 80s. One of those nostalgic places, but not done very well. Oh, wow. They're really letting me walk around. There's a spot where he couldn't figure out how to open the drink. Wow, I can surprisingly walk around a lot. No, this would be the cafe. My bad. Well, I don't know what that would be over there. Wait, is that the movie theater? I think that might be the movie theater. Bank of Hill Valley. Elite Barbershop. Oh no, there's the movie theater down there. That's right. He drives right into the building. This would be where Doc sets up. Let's get this bad boy cleaned up. She deserves our respect. Oh, snap. I don't think we've ever been in here before. Oh, is this so I can get to the top? Oh, that is cool. Oh. Oh, snap! The whole bell and everything. Oh, that is cool. Oh my god, that is cute. I can actually come out here on the ledge. Look at Doc's footprints. Oh my god, I love it. Look at it. Look at it. Sorry. I knew you said you were going to do stuff in the background and just listen, but you chose the wrong time to do that. Unless you've not seen the movies or care about the movies, at which point this means nothing to you. I will respectfully get this place in tip-top shape. Tiny has just become the world's first time traveler. You're not thinking fourth dimensionally, Marty. And of course, you know, here in modern times, we get things like Rick and Morty that are kind of like an homage or a straight blatant ripoff. Like they probably wanted to get the rights to do Back to the Future, but couldn't, so that's kind of spoofed it the best they could. I don't know. Rick and Morty was good for a short, brief period of time. Then it kind of got too big for its own britches. The whole that McDonald's sauce, what was it, Szechuan or however it's pronounced, I don't remember. The Milan sauce. There was just a lot of weird things that went on with that show. Szechuan, I don't know. It's about as bad as trying to pronounce. What's that sauce that nobody can pronounce? Worcestershire? Worcestershire? Okay. It's kind of a little bit of a tough spot here, but not impossible. We have a lovely day for this. Very lovely weather. Time travel ultimately is probably my favorite sci-fi trope and one of my more favorite fascinations IRL as well when it comes to physics and the nature of reality in the universe. And I always thought, given enough time, like give humanity enough time in existence, and we will eventually figure out time travel. But I don't know because it's like the Fermi paradox. Like, where are all the aliens in the universe? Why do we seemingly exist out here by ourselves? It could just be the whole conventional wisdom angle, like the time necessary to travel between stars and what have you, and the energy requirements necessary to do so kind of make it an impossible task. And the same I feel can be said honestly about time travel. We would have kind of seen some evidence of it by now at this point in our species' history, unless we have no future. We know that time travel is theoretically possible. Um, so there has to be something that kind of stops us ultimately from reaching that point. And I always wondered if it would be like a super volcano, a meteorite, World War VIII. What would there be something in my lifetime or in the next generation's lifetime that happens that would fundamentally shut down all of human progress? And I've obsessed on this over the years, and I've pondered what could it be, what could it be, what could it be. I've lost sleep over it. It's bothered me so much. But now I'm starting to kind of put the pieces together and I'm starting to see that it's not going to be mankind, if anyone ever uh, kind of reaches the ability to time travel, warp space, all that kind of stuff. It's probably not going to be humans. I think humans are on track for um, an extinction situation. And I don't say that um, just because of the predicament we're in. I've spent a good bit of time of looking over it myself and trying to educate myself the best I can. And sorry, I had to clear my throat. Over the years, I've given a lot of hot takes, said a lot of goofy stuff, raged a lot. I've talked about politics at length, but what we're facing now in reality here with with like man-made climate change, it's not a political issue. It's no longer up for debate. Like it doesn't. It's happening. It's happening. It doesn't matter whether you believe it. It doesn't matter whether your politics lean towards it. No, it's happening. And I think if we were going to reach, the level of time travel and that kind of thing, and maybe traveling to another star, I think just to name a few examples, I think we would have seen at least evidence. Um, and honestly, at this point, I think time travel would kind of be the ultimate way that we could kind of undo what we've done and course correct. And the fact that we haven't, of course, that could be a paradox in and of itself. Like if you time travel into the past to fix something, then in the future it's not an issue, so you never time travel into the past to fix it. Maybe paradoxes prevent us from doing things like that. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. All I know is that conventional wisdom, which is all I have access to, tells me that if time travel was going to be a thing, then at this point we would have kind of seen some empirical, irrefutable evidence somewhere, some way, somehow. Even if it were really well kept from us and we didn't know that somebody was time traveling, like we should have been able to detect it. We should have been able to figure that out. So it's as much as I don't like that idea that it's never going to happen, I don't think it's ever going to happen. And again, I'm approaching this from a layperson's perspective of no education, no, not knowing the physics of it or anything like that. It's just at this point, I have to figure that we'd known about it by now. I don't. I mean, given a long enough time scale, Earth is kind of doomed anyway, because the planet will continue to heat up regardless, because the sun will age and it will eventually make Earth uninhabitable for any and all life, even microbial. It is inevitable. So humans are still fated one way or another to have to either leave the planet at some day in the future, or they're going to have to figure something out. But I don't think humans are going to make it that far. I think wars, infighting, human nature, I think that eventually our species will succumb to all of our own bullshit. I don't think humans are going to be around long enough to evolve. I don't think we're going to be able to technologically dig our way out of this. I think we are fundamentally boned. And I do not say that to be an alarmist, and I do not say that to because, I want to be a negative Nancy. It's just my opinion based on the reality in which I live here in the 21st century. And since I also was alive in the 20th century, I kind of see I kind of have data from two time periods here, you know. So, I don't know. It's sad. I mean, humans had humans had potential, but unfortunately they squandered it. Um, and like, here's the thing too: if we magically came up with some way tomorrow to reverse climate change completely, like if we could like pull a blanket over the planet and cover it from the sun and cool the sucker down, like even if we magically fixed it all tomorrow, human nature, based on human history, proves that it's cyclical. Even if we avoid ever causing like climate catastrophes in the future, we'll find another way to fuck it up. We're gonna find a way to ruin it. Humans are going to find a way. They're gonna find a way. Screw it all up. And again, I don't say that to be a negative Nancy. I just don't think humans are going to make it. And I talked about that a little bit the other day. I was watching a YouTube video that brought up a very good point, something I really hadn't considered before. Um, we kind of out evolved ourselves. We kind of evolved ourselves right into extinction. Basically, our level of intelligence compared to every other species on the planet, what we've done, what we've achieved, what we can do with our opposable thumbs and our human brains, it ultimately guarantees our downfall, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it kind of guarantees that we're always going to screw up. Because even though we're part of nature, we live as if we're not. We live as if we're separate from things. And because of that, our hubris will be our downfall. I don't know how I'm supposed to get these really tough to reach spots. I might have to come back and figure you out eventually. All right, let's move on. But yeah, I would not hold my breath if I were you guys for humans making it, because nobody makes it out in the end. You know, it is a sad inevitability. All things die, even stars, even the universe will someday die. But it is nice. It does make a nice movie, though. The concept of time travel. Like I said, it has always been my favorite thing in science fiction. Um, Hell, I even find the whole time travel thing way more exciting than like de-extinction or cloning dinosaurs back to life. I love them on Jurassic Park, but time travel I think has it beat in the fascination department for me. Um, I don't know. There's just something so exciting about like being able to be somewhere in the 1950s and the 2050s and not be walking around at 108 years old, barely able to exist. You know what I mean? There's just something about watching the progress that tickles my fancy. Like, it's not even about going back in time and enriching myself by giving myself like advice, like, hey, go back, invest in Google or Apple or whatever. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not Biff. No, I think like everybody else, I just find it fascinating. It's being able to like see how things were in the past, or even more, my favorite part of time travel is seeing what things will be like once I'm dead and gone. You know, that really excites me. The idea of being able to jump forward and just see where we go. Like, what will technology look like? What will everyday life look like? I guess due to climate change, it'll probably look like a nightmare, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. It fascinates me. It really does. It really, really does. You guys really made a mess of this place. I've heard rumors that they wanted to tear down the back lot and maybe rebuild it or build something entirely new. Because you've always been able to tour the back lot. You can go to Universal Studios, and sometimes it's closed for various reasons. But I know that some asshat tried to set fire to it some years ago. Some people are a waste of space. It shouldn't exist. Yeah, I said it. I went there. It's going to be a hell of a thing when these actors go, and they're getting pretty far up there. Every little nook and cranny. Ooh, it can be tough to get the gears. For years, my friend and I, who I don't really ever talk about on the show, he's a buddy I had back in the 2000s. I haven't seen him in years. Um, he and I really both loved Back to the Future, and we would talk about it often. We'd sit down and watch it sometimes together. Um, well, we'd end up putting it on in the background and then get busy doing something else somewhere. Um, but we used to say it was a perfect movie, that it had no plot holes, no errors. And while to this day I still can't think of any, I'm pretty sure you could just Google or go to YouTube and find a video. But for us and our minds, our young minds at the time, we were like, just brilliant. It's just so brilliant. I mean, we still think it's brilliant, but you know what I mean. Like, we were arrogant and thought it was infallible. And think, we have only started on the inside of the building. We still have the entire outside, like the facade of the front of the building to go. This is going to be a whole thing. This might take multiple episodes, probably. It's your kids, Marty. Something's going to be done about your kids. Honestly, if I could time travel, I'd be very cautious about where I go and what I do. Obviously, there's the butterfly effect that you have to worry about. Um, but surprisingly enough, I don't necessarily think I'd be interested in going back in time too much. I mean, I would love to go back in time, but it wouldn't be my, like, let's say that you said I could only take one trip, either forward or back, but I would always choose the forward trip first. Always, always, always. Because to me, the past is, we kind of already know what happened. You could say, you want to go back and see the dinosaurs? Nah, not really. Um, I'm at peace with what we know about them and yada yada yada. I'm much more interested in like seeing the future I won't be around for, because to me that feels like it feels like I'm cheating reality. It feels like I'm cheating at life. It feels like I'm using some sort of cheating device in a video game. It's like I was never meant to see whatever I might go see in the future. Maybe I go 100 years, maybe I go 500, 1,000, 100,000, I don't know. Whatever I do, it was never meant for me to be able to see that. And that like tickles my fancy more than anything in reality. Being able to like go that far into the future and just see it with my own two eyeballs. That gets me going. That just gets me jealous. But going into the past, somewhere that I have somewhat knowledge of, and like, you already know the outcome. Like your life is the outcome of the past. So while it might be neat to be able to go into the past and maybe witness something interesting firsthand, it would pale in comparison to seeing the future, which hasn't been written yet, and you have no idea. I mean, we can only speculate wildly, and I think things like Back to the Future prove that because he went to the future. He went to 2015, which for them at the time was 30 years into the future. And obviously, that's not how our reality actually looked in 2015, but it's how they thought it would look or how they thought it might look. And that's been done a million times before in media, the Jetsons and tons of other things where future retroism, like the 20s and the 30s and the 50s, are three big notable ones in my mind, to where people back then often had this concept and idea of the future and what they thought it might look like. And sometimes they got real close. Obviously clothes were way off and what have you, but like sometimes they nail it. Like even in Back to the Future, like the family being too busy to sit down for an old school dinner, they just throw a pizza in the oven and boom, whole flat screen TV watching multiple channels at once. They really nailed like our future lack of uh, attention span. Instant communication with the "you're fired" thing. Obviously, we don't really do uh, faxes, but still, you know, it is always fun to think, what they thought it would look like. TV on the wall, I still think is everybody's like go to for what they got the most right. Jesus, just when you think you got a whole area, it's a lot of pinging. Good, good. But as far as like, when people mention how they might or might not fear death, for me, I don't fear the act of death itself. I kind of know what's coming. I think it's just a cessation of your consciousness permanently. I don't think we're going anywhere. I don't believe in other realms, heaven, hells. I don't believe in any of that garbage. I think you just cease to exist. Now, you might think that's horrible, but that's because you've been raised to believe in a bunch of fairy tale bullshit instead of reality. Um, but I think that's what, tickles my fancy about being able to go into the future and time travel is like you get to kind of cheat that for a bit and see what things are going to be like when you're not around. But I think that even, like I said, even things that aren't physically breathing and considered life by our standards, everything has everything has an expiration date. Even the universe and reality itself has an expiration date. Granted, it's so unconceivably far in the future for what, our perception of time, but it's still there. It's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. They say you're never truly gone until the last person that remembers you existed dies too. That is like that's some deep shit. That'll break your brain. every single spot. I think I've covered it, and then there's more. And then there's more. And then there's more. I don't know how you expect me to get up under that table. Dear Universal, whoever's in charge of the back lot in the Back to the Future set should be fired. Because look at what they let happen. And mind you, I'm only 38% done. Really? There. Now I can get the ladder shaped spot. It's funny, I started to do Minecraft today, but I was like, nah, I really want to do this. Because like I said before in the last episode, I think we're, as far as story mode or career mode is concerned, we're down to just 2 stages before the credits roll. I want to do all the DLC first. I want us to have finished every single mission possible or job possible before we roll those beautiful credits. So that's going to extend our playthrough of this by quite a bit. You know, I have had kind of a rough week. I'm not going to lie. And last night I started to delete our Fire Red playthrough. I just thought, well, I have too many playthroughs going on. I've done way too much Pokemon stuff on my channel. For my own sake, if I'm going to keep doing the streaming thing, I really need to do something other than Pokemon. But I was able to talk myself out of it, talk some reason into myself. I just ended up watching a show and going to bed and not doing anything rash that I would regret the next day. But I came close. Because in my mind, I'm racing to try and get X amount of games finished. Like I have this expectation to get everything done before November. Because come November, we're going to be doing a huge shift on my channel. We're going to be doing things differently than we've ever done before. I have all these plans, and it's really important to me because we'll be going into year 10 on the channel. I really, really, really want to stick to those plans that I have in my head. And that means trying to kind of put a wrap up on anything I might have going on at the moment. But, I don't know. Some days you just feel a little like you might not be able to get everything done. And that's normal. I think a lot of people feel that. Sometimes life is hard and you just don't have enough time in the day. What am I talking about? I have a time machine. I have all the time I want. I'll just go back early and warn him. How well did that work out, Marty? Hello. Ping, ping. I didn't realize I missed this much over here. Ooh, I feel a cool breeze. I have the window open. It's been really hot the past week or so. And then I guess like a late winter, early spring cold front came through, like a dry cold front came through last night. Now it's really cool out today. I never did get another message. Okay, let's see. Well, I missed quite a bit. Let me get maybe from this angle. Oh, I didn't even notice that. I did not notice all of that gunk. Ooh, now how am I gonna do this part? Those raptors up there and stuff. You know, can I interact with it? I cannot interact with this. Okay. All right, I gotta get the ladder over here on this side. We're so close to having this area wrapped up. We have to move outside and start on the front of the building. Now, I would like to know if I can actually get up there anywhere. Might have to move the ladder. Oh, you can't put it on this side, though. There's literally only two places up here for the ladder. Well, damn, son. Damn, son. Ooh, I can get up here. Oh, hot damn. Okay. Well, this is going to help out. Ping, 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 ping. Ping, 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 ping. Stop doing this bullshit where you won't let me aim it. Stop! Fucking hate it. Oh, I did not even notice this mess over here. Okay. Okay. I can't get down. How do I get down? Is there any other dirt spots up here? Yep. 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 Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? There's sneaky little snakes on the grass. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I missed some spots out here. How? How did I miss spots out here? How? The tick tock of the clock is painful, all sane and logical. I wanna tear it off the wall. I gotta figure out how to get up here. There we go. Okay. As far as I know, that's everything up here. We just need to get down there and do that nightmare. And I hear birds. Okay. Well, I feel like we've gotten a lot done today. Nope. Nope. Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, I think that we'll wrap things up here. And we come back in next time, we'll finish the outside of the building. But yeah, I've been sitting on this DLC for a while. There are a few DLC packs that I'm not going to do for this game, the SpongeBob and Bluey or what, those I'm not going to bother with, but something like this is right up my alley. This I'll do, but not so much the others. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here today. We did the van, the DeLorean, and the inside of the clock tower. I may separate this into 2 episodes just for time's sake. Unintended. All right, I'll see you guys back here next time.